I'm a big fan of Alice Walker, the writer, the poet, global citizen, and I'm a big fan of one of her books that was made into a movie called The Color Purple. And I love in the book and the movie where she talks about God as the color purple. And if you don't notice the color purple, it affects your relationship with God. And I believe that Kirk Byron Jones in this book, Addicted to Hurry, really brings home that point about not noticing God actually affects our relationship with God. And it's our hurried life that keeps us from that relationship because we're so busy doing so much. And this idea of group life, this is how we do life, it's pretty tempting to actually take on being a part of a small group and just adding another thing to our already busy life. And it's especially because the reason that our life is the way that it is, I think, is because we're trying to do the best we can. We're not doing anything intentionally bad. We're just trying to be the best mom and the best partner and just friend or whatever we have to do. But if we're so busy doing so much, we really are missing out. So we say group life, it's how we do life. Well, for many of us, well, okay, for me, I want to do everything right. So it's really tempting if I hear something that says group life, it's how we do life, to think, oh, that's how we do it? Well, then I want to do that because that's the how and I want to do it right. But then I think about, and what I've been reading in this book, is that that's possibly just trading one addiction for another. And a life devoted to feeding an addiction can't be replaced with just devotion to another addiction. Rather, we're trying to find a devotion to a simpler life, to a connection with God, like in The Color Purple, to notice God, to slow down, though, long enough to be able to notice. And also in The Color Purple, and Dr. Jones talks about this, he says, our hurried existence keeps us from discerning God, including discerning new dimensions of God. This is risky running, especially when, in the words of the climactic song from the movie The Color Purple, maybe God is trying to tell us something. In a hurried life, it's difficult to hear what God is trying to tell us. And I also think that it's difficult to hear it on our own. And for my own experience, being a part of a group is the way that I listen to God, because other people will help me to hear God. And here at our church, we have these practices to help us to have a deeper relationship with God. And we call them extravagant generosity, deepening faith, radical hospitality, passionate worship, and bold mission and service. And something that I read in here made me think about, what if we had different adjectives for them? What if we called them comfortable hospitality or minimal generosity, just what I like worship? Let's see, what's the other ones? Oh, shallow faith, and, no risk mission and service. Well, that would really be different. And what I read here that made me think of that was, do you see why chronic hurry and deepening spirituality are essentially incompatible? And I thought about, well, let's just take deepening faith. If I want to deepen my faith, I can't stay in the shallow end. I have to find a way to go deeper. And if I want to be radical in my hospitality, I have to find ways to do that. And so I'm hopeful, very prayerful actually, that being a part of group life is going to make that difference, so that the ways that I'm practicing my faith will be deeper, and that I will notice God in the everyday. As you read these first 5 chapters of this book, you're going to be looking more closely at your own life. How did you get to this place in your life that's so hurried and where you're not taking time to notice God? And to get to that place where you might recognize that something is missing and that you'd like to go deeper in your faith. So my prayer is that you stay open to all that God has for you in this process.